Hi all, I'm Joe, I'm the host of this channel, and I'm making a video today to talk to you about my Emacs development setup for Scala. This includes Scala 2 and Scala 3. I'm a Scala developer by day and general hacker by night, and I love hacking around in Emacs, and for me it's the most advanced development tool there is. And I pretty much couldn't do it for my day job if I didn't have the support of many open source packages like Eglot, Metals. So let me just have a small showcase here for you of how this setup works. So we're here in a personal project of mine, some Scala 3 code running in Emacs, and as you can see, syntax highlighting works very well thanks to TreeSitter. We'll get to some more details into it in a second. We also have go to definition functions very nicely. We have some we can even go into the documentation of a certain library code without a problem, just like you would in IntelliJ or something like that. We also have some nice completions working, so let me find a good place to showcase this to you. So we could, for example, go here, and we have also inlay hints, as you can see. For example, here with some Zio code, we see like the type inference doing some work for us. And I can, for example, come here and show you some type inference. So console, for example, as you can see, we have some very nice inference. We have documentation to the side. So overall, it's a pretty powerful setup. It works very nicely. I will admit that for refactoring, every now and then IntelliJ can be winning in that department. But in Emacs you can also do pretty nice things with Eglot, like for example renaming. Like we can rename this one to, for example, R, and as you can see, it changed in all the places. So that works very nicely. We also can toggle code actions. Certain moments you might get even really nice suggestions, such as you would in VS Code in the little lamp button that shows up. But this is in Emacs and it's fully configurable. So let's get right down to the config. So here I have my dot files written with Nix. The knowledge you might gain from looking at my dot files can be also applied to not Nix configurations, but I would highly recommend that you use Nix for managing your Emacs configs. Pretty much what I use to run a Scala setup and many other languages is Eglot, and this is as of version 29 or 28, I'm not entirely sure. Eglot is included by default in Emacs, and this is a really nice thing. Eglot is fully compatible with language server protocol, and it's got a huge and super helpful community. I really recommend that you use it. I was a previous user of LSP mode, but yeah, for me Eglot is simpler, more minimalistic, better documented, less batteries included, but more powerful. So I would highly recommend it. As you can see, what I do is pretty much create this is just a helper function to end up with this. So I'm actually trying to move all my hooks to use this custom function that I write here. So it's just a very simple helper. Let me get back to that Eglot configuration. So what I do is pretty much load Eglot after project done to make sure that we get all those nice features, like compile the project and all this. And then what I do is read some elisp configuration for Eglot. I read it from a file which I have in the present directory, which you can see here, Eglot config. So I'm pretty much creating, so extending the server programs for Eglot. So I'm telling Eglot, whenever we load a file with this mode, with the Scala TreeSitter mode, I want you to run metals. Then you can also specify some custom configuration for LSPs, and in this case for metals I've enabled some super method lenses, and also to show inlay hints, so show these type inference things. I've also enabled some preferences here, custom preferences, show all documentation feedback, show FlyMake diagnostics as well. So if we go back to that Scala buffer, I can show you FlyMake integration. It works pretty nicely as well. So if I were to make a mistake here, then I can already see FlyMake here explaining to me what I've done wrong, which is pretty nice. I can also do FlyMake go to next error, all kinds of commands that you can do with it. I used FlyCheck in the past, but I found that FlyMake is just simpler. It's just simpler, works perfectly, and for my use case, it's all I need. So continuing on the topic of the configuration, this is so in typical Emacs fashion, you would write this with a use package approach, right? Something like that. But I've templated my configuration with Nix, so this is how it looks like. But this knowledge you have here, you can take it and apply it to your own eLisp configuration, and you will be up and running. What you also need is of course TreeSitter support. Which is important. It's built in as of Emacs 29, it's built in, but you have to make sure you have the proper language grammars installed for Scala, and then you will also, for the nice highlighting, you need Scala TS mode. I have links in the description for all these packages and my dot files as well, if you would like to learn more from them. What I can also show you is a little bit more on how Scala compiling works from Emacs, how my development flow looks like. So let's get down to it. So I'm back in the project, in the Scala buffer. This is a pretty simple project. It's a small RESTful API that pretty much does some image manipulation. What I wanted to do, what I would do is go to that directory, right? I'm in this directory. I look at the files. It's an SBT project, so you would typically do SBT run. I like to have make files for all my projects, and this really helps. Also in introducing new people to projects. So make run is the command that I do with some environment variables. But why leave Emacs if I can live inside of Emacs? So if you load projectile, if you have projectile, this package allows you to do very, very nice things, and it recognizes folders that are Git repos as a project, and it allows you, for example, to compile your project. And then it asks you what's the command to compile the project. I will say make run. So as we see, now he's loading it properly. Well, loading the SBT project and running, and we're running the RESTful API. So I can close this buffer and leave it running in the background and start doing some more code. Let's say, some value is co dot succeed true, right? And then if I would like to restart my compilation process, I just switch buffers to the compilation buffer, press G to refresh, and he tells me, do you want to kill the process? Yeah, I do. And he will immediately do it for me. So this might look not like a great advantage, but I can have several buffers open at the same time, switch quickly, tell it to restart. I can even have a hot reload running inside of Emacs. So for me, this is the most efficient way of running a Scala project inside of Emacs. Something you can also do is Eglot provides also some nice things like Eglot find usages. find declarations, find implementations. So if you have an interface, which you are, I have a good example here. So if we have a trade, we can then find the implementations of this trade throughout the code base thanks to Eglot. So Eglot find implementations, and yeah, this kind of thing, because we don't have anything extending storage, we didn't find it, but because I'm using Zio layers. But if you have something extending it, it will find it. The type inference, I must say, works very nicely with metals. In IntelliJ you get this fake feeling because IntelliJ is not using the Scala compiler to provide you with feedback. They're using their own language server and proprietary protocols. So you might get really strange errors in IntelliJ when actually your code compiles just fine. So I would really recommend you use metals, whether in VS Code, but preferably in Emacs, because it's the editor we know and love. So let me know if I can help you with something, if I can shed more light into my configuration, into how Scala works with Emacs and the metal server. As a last bonus, I can show you how I install metals. I do it on a per project basis because I like the reproducibility of Nix, and I think everybody should be more concerned with that. So what I do is every project of mine has a flake, so it's entirely reproducible build, and what I do is create a development environment per project. So each Scala project of mine contains usually these items. So I usually run Scala 3 with the JDK 22 or the latest, then the metal server, SPT, Scala format, Scala fixed, and this is all coming from Nix packages. So Nix packages unstable version. How did I find it out? I can quickly show you how you could find it as well. So if you would go to search.nixos.org and then unstable, if you're using unstable channel, or 24.5, and you can then just look for metals, and you will see that there are several packages that provide metals. There is a lot of Scala versions immediately on Nix packages, so this makes life easier as a Scala developer. So that was all. I hope you enjoyed this video, and please leave a like and subscribe if you like to see more videos like this, and please encourage my new channel that is just getting started. Thank you very much.